Picture this. You're 60 years old. You've spent your entire adult life working. You have enough money. You have the freedom to retire today. Yet you decide to work one more year just to be safe, build a larger cushion, and feel a little more secure. Then you're 61, and another year still feels like the sensible choice. Before you know it, you're 65, and just one more year has quietly become a 5-year habit. Meanwhile, your best friend retired at 55. He spent his 60s traveling with his wife, hiking, learning new skills, and making memories with his aging parents. You spent yours in meetings, answering emails, and promising yourself you'd enjoy life later. Now you're both 65, you both have enough money. The difference is that your friend has a decade of freedom behind him, while you're left wondering where those years went. You're both healthy today, but you're also 1 year older than yesterday, and no amount of wealth can buy that year back. So why do people who are financially ready keep working? Why do intelligent, rational people delay retirement even after meeting every objective measure of readiness? How can one extra year of work seem insignificant while actually costing something you'll never recover? Time. Life expectancy data suggests that if you're 55 today, you have roughly a 50% chance of experiencing another 29 summers. If you're married, you have about a 50% chance of sharing another 22 summers together. But how many of those summers will you both be healthy enough to truly enjoy? 15, 12, maybe only 10. These aren't statistics, they're hiking trips, family vacations, dinners with loved ones, and quiet moments with your spouse. Experiences that become increasingly limited as health declines. Research also shows that retirement spending follows a smile-shaped pattern. People spend the most during their active, go-go years, less during the slower middle years, and more again later because of healthcare costs. Yet most future retirees dramatically overestimate how much money they'll actually need. For example, a couple expecting to spend £50,000 a year may believe they need £1.25 million to retire, when in reality their retirement could require closer to £900,000. At the same time, many people underestimate how much income a well-managed investment portfolio can realistically generate. This creates what I call the arbitrary retirement trap, the habit of setting retirement goals that aren't based on careful planning, but on round numbers like age 60, 65, or a portfolio worth $1 or $2 million. Every time one goal is reached, it simply moves further away, keeping retirement permanently out of reach. The reason is simple. Calculating retirement feels overwhelming. No one knows exactly how long they'll live, what markets will do, or how much they'll spend decades from now. Instead of solving those uncertainties, people replace them with arbitrary targets. I'll retire at 60, then it becomes 62, then 65. But those numbers were never based on reality. They were simply convenient milestones. When you reach them, the uncertainty hasn't disappeared, so the target shifts again. Financial goals work the same way. You tell yourself you'll finally feel secure with $1 million, then $2 million, then 5. Yet each milestone brings the same worries about inflation, market crashes, unexpected expenses, or living longer than expected. The finish line keeps moving because it was never tied to a real retirement plan. The real problem isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of clarity. Instead of calculating what retirement actually requires, you've spent years chasing numbers that were never grounded in your personal situation. This is why financial planners often spend less time telling clients to save, more and more time convincing them they're already able to retire. The people who retire successfully aren't necessarily the wealthiest. They're the ones who understand their finances. They calculate realistic spending, account for pensions, social security, and investment income, then work backward from their actual lifestyle instead of chasing arbitrary milestones. They also understand that market conditions matter. Higher interest rates mean retirement income can go much further. with cash accounts paying around 4%, fixed-term deposits exceeding 5%, and annuity rates at their strongest in years. Generating stable retirement income requires less capital than it did just a few years ago. Now imagine your life as a grid of 90 years. Every square represents a summer or a winter. If you're 55 today, you have roughly 29 summers left. If you're married, you may have only about 22 summers together. Now turn those summers into the things you love. If you read 5 books a year, you'll finish about 145 more books in your lifetime. Out of the millions ever written, that's all you'll experience. If you take one cycling trip with friends each year until you're 60, you may have only 5 trips remaining. If you see certain friends once a year, you might only share another 25 or 30 visits together. If you spend 10 days each year with your aging parents and they remain healthy for another decade or so, you may have only 100 to 150 meaningful days left with them. Once those days disappear, they're gone forever. Most people never think this way. They assume there's always more time. Then one day they reach 70 and realize they traded some of the most valuable years of their lives for a few extra years at work. The future will always feel uncertain. Every generation approaching retirement has believed they were living through unusually dangerous times. People worried about financial crises, recessions, trade wars, Brexit, pandemics, and countless other threats. Some mattered, many faded, and life moved forward. That's recency bias. Today's risks always feel bigger than yesterday's, yet history shows that uncertainty has always existed, and people have continued adapting through it. As the famous quote often attributed to Mark Twain says, "I have had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened." There's another obstacle: comfort. Work has become your identity. It shapes your routine, your relationships, your purpose, and your sense of accomplishment. Retirement doesn't just mean leaving a job. It means rebuilding your life without the structure you've relied on for decades. That's why retirement feels frightening. But for many people, the fear isn't financial, it's psychological. Somewhere along the way, you confused who you are with what you do. The solution isn't to keep postponing retirement, it's to replace uncertainty with planning. Start by calculating your real spending needs. Remember the retirement smile curve: higher spending during your active years, lower spending later, and increased healthcare costs toward the end. Most retirees spend less than they expected. Next, identify every reliable income source. Add together your pension, social security, and expected investment income. You may discover that much of your retirement lifestyle is already funded. Then work backward. If guaranteed income covers most of your expenses, calculate how much your portfolio actually needs to provide. In many cases, it's far less than people imagine. Stress test your plan. Ask what happens if markets fall 30% in your first year of retirement, if you live to 100, or if unexpected medical bills appear. A good retirement plan should survive multiple worst-case scenarios, not just the perfect outcome. Finally, choose a retirement date based on facts, not feelings. Instead of saying, "I'll retire at 65, say, "When my portfolio reaches this amount and my guaranteed income reaches this level, I'm done." Then honor that decision. Now picture yourself standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to another: 5 years of meetings, deadlines, and late-night emails, all in pursuit of a goal that may simply move again when you reach it. The other path leads to retirement: more mornings with your spouse, more time with family, more adventures while your health still allows them. The money is already there. The only thing standing in your way is fear disguised as caution. So ask yourself one question: when you're 70, which version of yourself do you want to become? The person who spent 5 more years working just to be safe, or the one who spent those years truly living? That choice isn't waiting in the future. It's happening now, this year, this summer, and once it's gone, you can never get it back.